Welcome to Wide Angle Conversations, an initiative of Life by Design with Taruna Aggarwal. This is season 3, and we are in conversation with women whose work reflects their passion for a more inclusive and equal world. My guest today is Beatrix Eder. She is a certified transformational coach and trainer based in Singapore. Her work focuses on inclusive leadership and workplace cultures. Hi Beatrix, welcome to Wide Angle Conversations Season 3.
Hi Taruna, very happy to be here.
My pleasure, Beatrix. So Beatrix, for our viewers, just tell us a little bit about your journey so far.
All right, happy to do so. So my name is Beatrix, and it's coming from the Latin word that means traveler or voyager. And traveling has been part of my life. Before age 30, I have lived in 5 countries. Every time I had to learn a new language. I was born in Hungary, raised in Germany. So I saw the falling of the Berlin Wall.
Okay.
Then, that gives some indication of my age.
Right.
Then I went to France to study, and from France I moved to China. So for the past 16 years I have been in Asia. So through all these moves, I had the experience of both the pleasant side and the difficult side of living in a different environment than your own. My husband is also coming from a different cultural background.
Okay.
And so we have 2 kids who are third culture kids and our best teachers.
So no wonder you took inclusive leadership, coaching, and that's the line that you have picked up.
Yes, it came very organically.
So how did, why in the workplace diversity and inclusion, and you taking on inclusive leadership as working in that area, what made it so important for you?
I think that there were 2 motivating factors. One is that I believe that we're not just here to create tangible results and excel at projects or performance,
right?
But we also have to cultivate our inner development.
Right.
And that means that there is something that we're here to do, to contribute to the world, to create some positive impact within our sphere of influence.
Right.
So that was one thing. And then the second thing was a search for a very long time for a different type of power than what we usually see in the world. I think very often it's very individualistic, independent, power over, competitive, dominant. And I always believed and was looking for examples of a power that is as strong, but it's power with others and not over others. Right. And so that naturally brought me to inclusive leadership.
Right. Every organization has their D&I divisions, and they are doing something for the WIN initiatives. While diversity is tangible, you can see it in numbers, right? In an organization, inclusion and equality, on the other hand, you really can't make out to what level it has. We've reached there. So tell me, from your experience, how deep do you think inclusion or inclusivity and equality seeped into organizations?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think a lot has been done in the past years and decades. There are moral, legal, and economic imperatives for being more inclusive. The world has also changed with new markets, a more diverse workforce and customer base, and technology is connecting us. So today it's a lot more important to be able to work and communicate effectively with people who are in some ways different from you. Now, a lot has been done, and that's great. And I think there is still a lot to be done. 2 things come to my mind. One is that often this is an initiative mainly by HR department and marketing, which is good for a start. But it hinders that inclusive practices are really embedded in daily life and linked to the business strategy. So if it's just an initiative of a certain department or a certain group of people, it will not permeate the culture. That's one thing. And the other thing is also inclusion is often confused with diversity, as you said.
Yeah.
It can be measured though. You can, inclusive cultures tend to have a lot higher engagement. So you have more engagement, you retain more people for longer, more diverse workforce, more creativity and innovation. So it can be measured, it's just that we're not so used to it yet to measure it.
But as you said that, lots has been done, but lot needs to be done as well. So what do you think needs to happen to make this as reality?
Well, practice on all levels. I think in that sense, organizations have a special role and a possibility and a responsibility. Because today people want to work for organizations not just for a paycheck, but they want to be aligned with the values of the organization.
Coming to, back to you, you were working in the corporate, as you said, in Singapore as well, you were working in the corporate area, and then you shifted to entrepreneurship. You've set up your own practice. What made you make that shift?
My kids. Indirectly. So when I became a mother, I had this dilemma that many women or mothers have, that how can you have a meaningful work and contribute financially to the household, and also have flexibility to be present with my kids and see them and witness how they are growing and developing. So I've never thought of becoming an entrepreneur, and it was more a need of the moment that pushed me to take this leap.
Right. And how was the journey then? It was something, as you said, pushed you for the leap. It is out from your comfort zone. So
definitely. Right. It's it's an ongoing journey, and I think I had to learn a lot of things. I'm a person who never feels ready. So whatever I do, I think, you still can adjust this and change that a little bit, and how can you make it better? And so just starting that journey of entrepreneurship while I had no experience, I had no examples in my family, I had no step-by-step process. That required to accept that you go even if you don't know exactly where you're going, and moving into action while not being 100% prepared.
Right. Any challenges that you faced along the journey, and how did you overcome those?
Well, there have been and there are always challenges, and one challenge is fixed and then the next one is coming up. One constant challenge is the juggling. Launching a business requires a lot of time and energy, and raising kids also requires a lot of time and energy. So there's always something to be done, and managing also own expectations, that how much time do you spend on one activity, and how satisfied are you with one activity? How forgiving are you with yourself? So these are constant challenges, and practice makes them a little bit more easy.
Hats off to you. I think we need to give a pat ourselves on the back for all the work that we do, and make all those perspective shifts and changes in our own thinking and our mindset too, and carve our own path, right?
Yes,
that's what it sounds like to me. That's what you have done.
Yes, it's again something that started with the coach training that obviously taught me skills that I can use with my clients, but it also challenged and changed me, and it continues to work. It's a funny cycle of giving and receiving, of looking back, of becoming aware. What are habits or patterns, including in our own lives, what serves, or what doesn't serve anymore, and how can we move beyond.
Right. And I think that's so important because a lot of women, especially those who are moving around with their families and shifting and, you know, having had to leave their careers and what they do, what they knew, it's always they're kind of redefining themselves at many places, right?
I don't think there is one way of doing things, or a safe recipe that always works.
Right.
Individual situations are always individual. What I have seen in myself and with my clients, and that seems to be true for me, is that if you want to be really happy, it has to come from within. It has to be something linked to principles that are important for this individual.
Right.
And they have to go beyond the personal level. Because we all have difficulties. They always come up. And when we know why we do certain things, then it's much easier to navigate through these challenges. So that seems to give people energy and alignment. And when people feel like this, that's when they can create impact and sustainable change.
Yeah, absolutely. So you have to tap into your own strengths.
Yes.
And we do have a powerhouse of strengths inside us. All we
Yes.
need to do is give it a little nudge. Right?
That's sometimes easier said than done.
Definitely. I think change is the most difficult, and then also to be
Yes.
working on your own self, you know, and but what comes out is you're a more empowered being, and you know, you're in that happier space. So I think it's more fulfilling. So although it is tough, but I think it's very meaningful and worthwhile.
Yes, it's also worthwhile because whatever we do on ourselves and individual transformation will ripple through to people whom we interact with.
Yeah.
So that's also a little bit why I focus on organizations, and why I think we have to do it in our individual lives, because family is the smallest unit of society.
Right.
So if we can create change there, then again, we bring it out to the people that we interact with.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. Wonderful. Thank you, Beatrix. That was really very inspiring, and a lot of nuggets that you have shared with us.
Thank you, Taruna.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed the conversation. We'd like to hear from you, so do leave your thoughts and comments. And see you next week with another inspirational guest.